Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Sctv3. I'm Bree Hill.
And I'm Alex Thomas. Here are tonight's top stories. Well, tonight in national news, we are following a story from yesterday about a horrible tragedy at a high school in Murraysville, Pennsylvania. 20 students and a security officer at Franklin Regional Senior High School were stabbed or slashed in the attacks. Thankfully, there were no deaths, however, in the attack. 16-year-old Alex Reball is the accused attacker and will be tried as an adult, according to CNN. Our thoughts are with all of those who were involved.
This year marks the 50th anniversary of the peak of the Civil Rights Movement and also Civil Rights Summit, which this year is held at Lyndon B. Johnson Memorial Library in Austin, Texas. At the summit, leaders from around the country will speak on the topic of civil rights in regards to the issues of the country has faced in the past and is facing now. Our very own Marty Dobrow, an associate professor of communication and sports journalism here at Springfield College, is at the summit to talk about a book he's writing about Martin Luther King Jr. coming to Springfield. Dobrow will serve on panels and will interact with the likes of President Barack Obama and former presidents Bill Clinton and Jimmy Carter. He also will be a moderator of a 75-minute discussion with Dr. Bernice King, who is MLK's daughter, and Mr. Julian Bond, who is one of the great civil rights icons of his time. You can follow along with Marty's journey on his blog Marty Dobrow at thecivilrightssummit.wordpress.com. Again, that's Marty Dobrow at thecivilrightssummit.wordpress.com. Or follow the link on the homepage of your PrideNet login. We're all excited to hear about his trip and the experience when he returns for classes next week.
You might have seen an email come your way this past week from the Office of President Cooper talking about the formation of a new Diversity and Inclusion Committee right here on campus. Megan Zimbler went in-depth and takes a deeper look at the club.
As of April 3, 2014, President Cooper announced the formation of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, a group that she states will help the college progress towards a prosperous future. The two co-chairs, Allison Cumming McCann and David McMahon, were able to chat about the goals and future.
There's only a few months where things are new, and then it becomes normal. And to me, that's probably the essence of why she started the committee, was that there are things that need to shift on this campus. There are things that when you come on campus, you notice that there's probably things that we could do better. And so I think some of it is her realization that that's smart for us to do. We need to look at what diversity is and how do we better meet the needs of a diverse community that's here. How do we look at recruiting more diverse students, faculty, staff, that's kind of part of it. And then I also think there's this other component that it is just time. It's what we need to be doing.
Right, and the other piece I would add in terms of why the committee, why now, one piece is that as part of Dr. Cooper's getting to know the campus, she had the suggestion box and did a lot of sort of what I would term listening tours. And these two committees, both the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, which we're chairing, and also the Shared Governance, seem to be issues that rose up out of that. And so one way I would sort of frame the discussion is that I think both committees are acts of reflection by the institution, not just by Dr. Cooper, but as the institution as a whole.
Really now we're trying to look at the campus and get a sense of what's happening, where the needs are, even trying to have discussions about what diversity means, what it looks like, and so there's and also some reflection. There's been really good work done in the past, so looking at what's been done and how we can use that. So that's really where we are right now.
One of the goals is to strive for a more diverse and inclusive campus, taking a look at our past, present, and future. The committee is made up of faculty and staff and a pair of graduate students.
There's a balance of faculty and staff. We have folks from different racial and ethnic backgrounds. We have folks who focus on different social justice issues. I think what's really strong about the committee is that we have many different and very strong opinions. We may not always be in agreement on every topic, but it's a committee that I can honestly say is aimed at working together to improve the institution, and that really wants this place to be an inclusive and welcome place. You know, one of the great issues you get into in talking about diversity is people have very different opinions on subjects, and as an institution of higher learning, where we, you know, espouse academic freedom, and where we want our students to mature, both intellectually, but also spiritually, ethically, morally, it's important to be able to set a context in which you can have very differing opinions and yet work together. We can agree to disagree. So on the committee now, we have a couple of alumni, Nate Harris and Carmen Oyola.
She's also a current student.
Who's also, yes, a current graduate
Okay.
student as well, right? But she did her undergraduate here as well. We have Susan Bigelow, who's a member of the library staff. We have Kelly Canoyer, who is in the Department of Public Safety. We have Bobby Harrow, who's a faculty member in the School of Human Services. And we also, from the School of Human Services, have David Rutter, who's the Associate Dean. And then also we have Sam Headley, who's a faculty member in exercise science. And Brian Thompson, who's in our strength and conditioning program, another faculty member.
And works a lot with athletes.
And works a lot with athletes. And finally, Jane Botero, who's in our marketing department. And so I think the idea was that you would have representation of a variety of different groups on campus in terms of faculty, staff, student, folks who are involved in athletics, folks who are more involved in, you know, the student life side of the house, folks who represent very different academic departments, and folks with experience working around some difficult issues.
As President Cooper states, quote, "It is time for us to come together and discuss how we must move forward as a campus community. And the Diversity and Inclusion Committee is just a start." From SCTV3, I'm Megan Zimler.
It's been a beautiful week weather-wise here on campus as spring has finally sprung. Will the warm weather carry through the middle of the month? Katie Benoit has more with this week's weather segment.